What's up, home bartenders? Today we're gonna make our very own Campari, sort of. We're gonna make a homemade bitter orange liqueur using blood oranges. We're gonna start by making a blood orange syrup, and then we're going to infuse blood orange peels with a bunch of other bitter ingredients and some vodka, and we're gonna make a very bitter spirits. We're gonna blend the two together to come up with something that I think works very well as a substitute for Campari. All right, let's do it. So to start, we're gonna peel our blood oranges. I had 5 blood oranges. We want about 50 grams. So go ahead and peel those. Other than that, we're gonna want some vodka. We've got some gentian root, some cinchona bark, some cinnamon and cloves. Okay, we're gonna start by infusing our vodka. So in a vacuum seal bag, we've got all our ingredients, the gentian root, about 10 grams, 5 grams of the red cinchona bark. We got 1 cinnamon stick and about 2 to 3 whole cloves, and then your 50 grams, about 5 oranges of the orange peels. And to that, we're gonna add about 400 ml of vodka. So I'm using a sous vide bag here because it's gonna make the infusion a lot faster. We're gonna infuse this in just about 2 hours. If you don't have a sous vide machine, you can stick this in a mason jar and infuse for about 7 days. So this just makes it a whole lot faster. So make sure that if you do have a vacuum seal machine that it has a liquid setting, otherwise that vodka will go everywhere. Okay, into the water bath at 135 Fahrenheit for 2 hours. Meanwhile, we can make our blood orange syrup. So 1 more blood orange gets peeled. We just need 1 orange peel here. The rest of them will get juiced. So we need about a cup of blood orange juice. So basically the 5 or 6 oranges that I had peeled previously, I'm gonna juice them all. And yeah, I gave you about a cup. These were not the juiciest of blood oranges, but still has a lovely red color. And that's what we want. All right, to a pot on a stove, we're gonna do our 1 cup of blood orange juice. We're going to add our peels from 1 blood orange, and we want 1 cup of sugar. There we go. And we're just going to simmer that on a low heat until the sugar dissolves and everything comes to a boil. We can reduce it a little bit, but not too much. There we go. Just keep stirring until this comes to a boil. And when it starts boiling, reducing a little bit, we're gonna cover it and we're gonna remove it from the heat and let it cool completely before we strain it through a cheesecloth or milk nut milk bag, and into a bottle. And there it is, your blood orange syrup. And this stuff is really good. It basically tastes like orange marmalade. It's delicious. Okay, back to the infusion, which is done now, and we're going to pass that through a filter as well, a nut milk bag. All right, so this is just the infused vodka, so the infused blood orange peel and bitter barks and whatnot. Ooh. Ooh, that is bitter. Well, there's a lot of flavor there. You got the gentian, you got a little, what I assume is the cinchona. I've never infused cinchona bark before, so I'm familiar with gentian, but there's another bitterness there. And then of course there's the strong citrus peel. So now let's add our sweetness in the form of our blood orange syrup. So the blood orange syrup that we made, we're gonna add some of this. As I mentioned earlier, this basically tastes like orange marmalade. It's pretty awesome. Added about 100 ml. I don't wanna go too far because this is meant to be a bitter liqueur. And that's a little touch of cinnamon is very nice too. That's pretty good. Again, my instructions said 4. We went about 400 ml of vodka, so by basically 4 to 1. It's 400 ml of our, and then only 100 ml of our sweetness. You can tailor that to your liking. That's pretty damn good. Now, this next step here, just for aesthetics, I'm gonna add a couple drops of red food coloring because this does not come out as red as I would have liked it. But you don't have to do that. People are gonna go, oh, it's artificial. I don't care. I want my stuff to look cool. See? Doesn't look artificial red. It looks pretty awesome right on its own. I think that's just where I'm gonna go. It still looks natural enough. Doesn't look like a complete neon color. All right, let's bottle it. I'm using a coffee filter for my final bottling. You don't have to. It is pretty opaque. I'm hoping that the coffee filter will take away some of that sediment. I'll probably have to do it again. You don't have to, but you could let this sit a couple weeks. Some more sediment will settle and then filter it a second time. Hey guys, the bitter orange liqueur is done, but before we taste it, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit that little bell so you're notified when we release new content. On the nose, getting lots of gentian and some orange peels. Very nice. So it is gentian forward, but then gentian, and then up front, then you get orange peels, and then that blood orange sweetness after that. And then that kind of dry, bitter feeling that you get with Campari, you get that on the end. I think we succeeded. I think this is pretty good. All right, let's do a taste test. So we got 4 bitter orange aperitifs here. We've got my blood orange bitter liqueur. We've got Campari, kind of the OG of this category of liqueurs. Aperol, kind of Campari's little brother. That's a lot less bitter, a lot sweeter. Here is a blood orange bitter Aperitivo from Reed's Distillery in Toronto. And this was actually the inspiration to make my own. I got this a while back. Someone recommended it, and it's from a local distillery. I like to support local, but it got me thinking how easy it is, how easy would it be to recreate that liqueur. So here we are. All right, let's start with mine here. Oh man, that is really good. Very nice. Just occurred to me I will be needing some water in between these. The Campari. You know what, I think it's up front, the Campari is actually sweeter and more syrupy than mine. But then on the back end, that hardcore Campari bitterness definitely hits. There's a lot more going on in terms of what's making the Campari bitter. Obviously there's the kind of the citrus peels. I don't know what else they're using. A lot of different kind of botanicals and stuff to give it that bitterness. It's definitely a lot more syrupy than mine though. Aperol. Oh yeah. I mean, again, more syrupy, much sweeter. I mean, it's funny that after drinking so many bitter things, this tastes like pure sugar to me. And it is technically considered a bitter liqueur. Very citrusy, very candy-like, candy citrusy. Those old school hard candies that are orange flavored, that's what Aperol tastes like. Oh yeah, that's pure sugar. And then the Reed's Distillery. It's very different than mine. Right in the back here. So they got gentian. They're using grapefruit peel. I think I kind of picked that up. Rhubarb root, angelica root, and wormwood. Okay, so they went a little all out on the botanicals. I basically stuck with what I had on hand. I had gentian, I had the cinchona bark, and that's all I had really in terms of botanicals to make this bitter. You could obviously invest in a lot more and really experiment. Like I'm reading the ingredients in the back here. Rhubarb, angelica, wormwood, ginseng, wild cherry bark. So yeah, there's a lot more you can add to it, and it definitely adds to the complexity. I think this is the most bitter one. I think this guy's actually more bitter than Campari. It's crazy. But all these are fantastic. I mean, whether you're sticking with the OG Campari, whether you can't quite take the bitterness of Campari and you're going Aperol, whether you go for a local brand, and if you're in the Ottawa or Toronto, if you're in Canada, you're able to order from Reed's Distillery. Highly recommend it. I'll leave a link in the description below. Or if you want to make your own and experiment, I highly recommend it because I'm a fan of mine. It's really nice. So make sure you stick around, guys. Make sure you are subscribed, because we will be making some awesome cocktails in the next episode using our homemade bitter orange liqueur. If you want to see how to make your own gentian liqueur, which we went kind of high gentian here, but if you want a pure gentian liqueur, make sure you check out this video right here. If you want to see all our infusions and all our homemade liqueurs, make sure you click on this playlist right here. Otherwise, we will see you in the next one, guys. Cheers.